7 things smart people never reveal about themselves in interviews. It's best to keep certain things hidden in the professional world. Successful individuals will not bring that up, as the emphasis at hand is more of what they can offer the table, as well as much less concerning the dollars they'll make. This must only be discussed when and also if you determine to work out the sort of revenue you'll obtain. Must a task deal transpired? Greater than likely you'll be at a work where a team job will certainly turn up. Not every person enjoys these kind of points, as egos can hinder in addition to large defamation from a harmful co-worker, but effective people never expose this throughout a meeting. You're determined. Successful people will certainly never ever before expose that they are hopeless for a task. It can be appealing to speak about this, especially with how countless people lost their placements last year and also are chomping at the bit to make a wage once again, yet confessing so never ever looks good from the job interview as possible. Rather, do your research on the business and work that into a conversation concerning why they are such a preferable area for you to be used at. I can start in 15 minutes. Unwind. Seriously. This falls in line with the determined factor above, where effective individuals will never admit that they can begin in a 24 to 48-hour duration unless the setting absolutely calls for it. Be trendy, tranquil and accumulated when they ask about start date, typically 1 to 2 weeks depending. Don't forget that they are seeing a swimming pool of various other prospects too, so the work greater than likely won't be ready in a handful of days. When determining who is finest for the task, being versatile is one of the numerous positives they'll bear in mind. Needs to the subject turned up. You ought to constantly state that you're a team player. Additional points will certainly be awarded if you have the ability to raise exactly how you shined independently in a job without lowering others in the process. You wish to boast concerning yourself by highlighting crucial points you have actually reconstructed to this point that makes you ideal for the position without encountering as totally arrogant. Alone, celebration of one. Staff members of all kinds have been able to browse the individually interviews or team chats incredibly well by focusing on their possessions that will certainly benefit the firm at hand and staying away from points that can be unneeded and even hurt your chances of being worked with. Stating, "I'm outstanding at what I do," or, "You will not find any person else like me," is off-putting. It can be tempting to chat concerning this, especially with how millions of individuals lost their positions last year and are munching at the little bit to make a wage again. However, confessing so never looks good from the interview as possible. Instead, do your study on the firm as well as job that into a discussion regarding why they are such a preferable location for you to be employed at. Loosen up. This falls in line with the hopeless factor over, where effective individuals will never ever confess that they can begin in a 24 to 48-hour duration unless the position absolutely calls for it. Be cool, tranquil and also gathered when they ask regarding begin date, generally 1 to 2 weeks depending. If a business you're interviewing for asks if you have any type of concerns, respond. Effective people will certainly never complete out an interview by going on mute, leaving as well as drinking hands. They will certainly discover a minimum of 1 or 2 ideal things to ask that shows they care and that they've truly paid attention to what the recruiter revealed to them throughout their conversation. Self-confidence versus arrogance. Effective individuals draw a really fine line between the two. Instead, they'll do a 180 and discuss what they've gained from their past placement as it relates to the one they are trying to get. Do not be that individual who cannot wait to badmouth your previous manager. It's best to maintain particular things concealed in the professional globe. Not everyone needs to know all the specifics of your previous job life, particularly throughout a meeting for a position you are really intending to get. Salary expose. Your current wage is something that ought to be left at night during a meeting. When you contrast it to your worth at the company you're interviewing for, it doesn't matter. These types of meetings are demanding enough to begin with. COVID has actually made them extra testing as a result of the switch from personally to virtual, which has its very own problems one need to encounter while being stuck inside. You do not want to include verbal nonsense to your Zoom meeting on top of everything else you have to manage. That being said, below are 7 points successful individuals never disclose concerning themselves throughout a meeting. I'm good, many thanks for asking. Think about various other things like, I take pride in what I've accomplished so far, or, I believe I have the appropriate abilities required for the task handy throughout your interview. A successful prospect will dodge any type of sort of bullets sent their method when a recruiter is trying to obtain him to speak garbage concerning who you made use of to work for. These things smart people never reveal about themselves in interviews.